Hello, hello everyone. I think we're live. I clicked the
Oh,
button.
hey Arlemy.
Yes. Hey Joyce.
Hey, you
Hey.
sound a lot better this week.
Have you noticed? I
Yeah.
got I got this. It's
Well,
magic.
I want one.
Yeah, there may still be some tweaking to do. So if you hear too much noise, if it's picking up everything around the room, let me know, and I'll work on that. Um, but yeah, I don't know if there's people around, but welcome. Uh, Here for our third time on Twitch. We're gonna do some sentiment analysis of Twitter profiles. So we're gonna base that on outlets, like news outlets, and we may switch to other ones. Hey, Andy. Andy's on the chat.
Hey Andy. Andy Piper.
Yep, Andy Piper's on the chat. Yeah, so we're gonna use the Twitter API, do some gathering of data from Twitter, and that's choice. You're gonna do that, I guess. Do you want to talk a bit more about what you're gonna do?
Yeah, I'm just gonna hey Daniele. I'm just going to use Twitter's Developer Labs API. It's their beta, kind of like a skunkworks or like a I don't know what else you call it, but just kind of like a almost like a canary, like we were talking about canary last week. I'm going to use one of their APIs to get tweets from different news sources, and then I'm going to pass it over to you, Arlemy.
And I'm gonna use AWS, or at least I will try to use AWS, like cognitive services, to do some sentiment analysis, and we'll see what we can get of that. But as a start, as we've done every week, I'll just do a quick. Are you ready to do your jingle?
Um, so how do we harmonize again? Yeah,
No.
yeah, let's do it.
Okay, let's go. Start doing that section, which is just about what's been released in Postman in the last couple of weeks. So we have a release every 2 weeks, and we actually had one yesterday. There was quite a few things in there, and I've posted on our community forum about it. I've posted, I think that's about it, but we have the official release notes on the website as well. But basically, the 5 highlights that we have this time is that if you're a RAML fan and you've been using RAML 1.0 and you've been saying, oh, why isn't Postman supporting that? You can now do that on Postman. And whenever you create an API schema, you can select RAML 1.0 and get started with it. And this API builder, which has been out for like probably 6 months now, I guess, and out of beta for a month. If you're trying to get started with it and you're not sure what it is about, there's now a guided tour. I don't know if you've tried it, Joyce.
Is it the boot camp?
So it's not quite in the bootcamp. You can only start it from the tab. But basically, if you're in the tab and you don't have an API, you can start a tour, and it's gonna go like category by category, tell you what the develop tab is about, what the tests are about, and what you can add to your API basically. So let's say you have an API schema and you want to add some automated tests. You go in there, and it's gonna teach you. The
So
third
wait,
thing. Yeah,
so Arlemy, that RAML support that's in the API builder. Do you happen to know if it's also supported in the ad hoc import?
I do not know, but that's a very
Okay.
good question. I would guess so.
Okay. Cool.
The third one, we talked about it already. It's the presence thing, and you actually we can demo it now. Do you want to go on the workspace, Joyce? And then we can show that.
I'm in the
Oh,
workspace.
you. Let me
Yeah.
switch to it. Which
Oh
one
my
are you?
gosh. Yeah, yeah.
Wait. Oh,
Wait,
which one are you on?
I'm in Twitch. I see you.
Are you on Twitch or Twitch staging?
Twitch.
Okay, can you do an
Yeah,
action?
sure. So,
Because I see you inactive. It's not a great
oh,
demo.
I'm in here. Here, let me just type. Let me do something.
Hey, VNGN18. I'm not quite sure how to pronounce your name. I'm sorry, but hello.
Vu Nguyen, 18. I know Vu. Hi, Vu. So this is see how I lit up in your bubblehead?
Yeah. Oh yeah. There you go.
Yeah. So I'm like doing stuff now. I'm in that workspace.
So that's the thing that it was in Canary for a week or a couple of weeks, and now it's in the prod version. So anytime you're in a Twitch, in a team workspace, you can see anyone that's working and whether they're active or not. If there's more people, I actually created a fake Dunder Mifflin workspace for that, and you can see that Michael Scott and has all his employees that are inactive, but he's probably used to that, so that's fine. But yeah, if you had more people, it would also show a small bubble head, and you can see the whole list there.
It's the office's 15-year anniversary. The American Office.
Yeah, I, I've watched it so many times I don't even know when it was released, but I've at least watched it 15 times if that counts.
So you're looking at who's in this workspace?
Yeah. Uh, and now we have support for GraphQL. So we've given some love to the RAML people. We're also giving some love to the GraphQL people. I think GraphQL has their specific schema format, which is called SDL, so Schema Description Language. But now you can actually write your GraphQL schema in JSON as well. So if you're more used to that, same. When you create your API schema or import it, you can just select GraphQL and do your JSON stuff in there.
Oh, so like GraphQL, we had that support for a while and it was SDL, but now there's JSON format.
Yeah, exactly.
Schema? Okay, cool.
And last but not least, the performance improvements everywhere. We had, not gonna lie, it was a bit slow sometimes when you had a lot of requests or like a lot of variables in your environments. The team has done a lot of work on that, and now it's pretty much instant everywhere. So we won't be able to demo that because now it's basically just instant, but trust us. And that's it for in case you missed it.
In case you missed it.
Okay, back to you.
So yeah.
We can see your screen.
Okay. So you can see, so look, see how my Arlemy is inactive? Now, Arlemy, in your workspace, go into the work, do something. Yeah, he's active. I can see him and he's lurking, and I see that he's watching every move that I'm making inside this workspace. That's kind of cool. I hadn't tried it out in Canary. So, oh, thanks, Arlemy, you just left. You probably switched focus. That makes sense.
Exactly.
Okay. So today we're going to be looking at a few APIs. I prepared something to do. I actually have a cheat sheet on a second monitor. Finally have my second monitor. But I'm hoping that I won't need to look at the cheat sheet and we come out with a superior solution just with the people that are here in the room. So here we are in our Twitch workspace. It's a team workspace that Arlemy and me are collaborating in. I'm going to go ahead and unstar last week's Twitchception, the Meta Chronicles, because we're done with that.
Oh, and then, are we?
Are you going to use it again? Well, we could. So we're persisting our work here. So if I go here into the new button, we've been here many, many times before, but like if I'm like, does Twitter have like some sort of like API? And yeah, they actually have two. One is for Twitter and one is for Twitter Ads API. And if I'm like, this is the official Twitter collection for Twitter Developer Labs, number of imports, and I can pull it in. We've looked at this tab before, but I'm going to go to the documentation. We spend a lot of time in documentation, which is good because that's what people do when they're doing work. So I was actually a little bit confused. I've worked with Twitter's API before, but not their Developer Labs API. So this is their developer.twitter.com. This is their documentation, developer portal. But if you go to the top, there's this labs thing in the nav. Am I scrolling too fast?
No, that's fine.
Okay. So I think I have this open, but if I go to like about or docs, let's go to docs. Let's just go straight to docs, not even care about what this is. I was confused because I didn't realize it was a separate, like I called it earlier, Skunkworks, but it's their experimental stuff. So like it's just like our Canary that we were talking about last week. So releases are likely to change before they enter like a production or a broader release. So just don't get used to it. Don't build anything production, but it's a really good way for you to experiment with some of their new functionality.
Yeah, I got confused as well. I have to give a shout out to Andy that unlocked me on that, because I had an account for a while and didn't realize you had to enroll for this. And I know you gave me the information before, Joyce.
Yeah, so but, I'm not going to show that, but all you have to do is click like a purple join button or something like that, and then it just lets you in. So I feel like most people have used the Twitter API before, but I'm just going to go over. Okay, we also have our secrets, but I don't know what I have. That secret. So get ready with the secret shield, Arlemy.
Okay, it is on.
Okay, so I'm looking here at Twitter Developer Labs. Here's some of their regular.
Oh wait, you don't want the secret
Oh no,
shield.
not yet, not yet.
Okay.
Oh,
Okay,
I like that secret shield.
okay, it's
So
off.
the code, the keyword is going to be like secret shield activate, and then you say activate.
Cool.
Okay. So these are the standard like Twitter endpoints if you're not familiar with them, but most people have played around with it. Here's the labs one. So you can see like a bunch of the different types of functionality. You know, there's V2, V1, V2. And so if we're interested in, say, like getting tweets and user information, um, looking here at the page, one thing about clearly there's people here from Twitter, but one thing that I find overwhelming is that Twitter has so many APIs that I get a little like overwhelmed by the primary nav, this nav here, and then they have this nice tabbed way to like fit in a lot of information. But I admit I get a little bit lost here in the docs. But excellent work, Twitter people that are in the room. So if I'm like scrolling down here and I'm like, here's a little bit more about this. Honestly, I don't read a lot of this like about and that kind of thing. I just go to quick start and just try to get. Do you do that too?
I would go to API reference, but it
Oh,
doesn't.
really?
Yeah, doesn't
Oh,
always work. I'll share my experience with AWS later. But yeah.
oh no. Oh, AWS, that's going to be a whole nother beast.
Yeah.
A lot of times I don't read stuff, and so I think unfortunately I miss things, but I just go straight to the quick start. I try to get something up and running, and then I feel good about myself. I feel smart, whatever. So now I'm under the quick start, and I'm like, okay, here's the slash tweets endpoint. Here's some information that it could possibly return off. Okay, so like if you've ever fiddled around with the Twitter regular Twitter API, I think they have like OAuth 1A or something very like unusual. But now here they're using OAuth 2. And it says you'll need to generate a bearer token. So most people get stuck on auth. Um, Once configured, our Postman collection will handle the generation of a bearer token for you. So that sounds, we're going to be doing this in Postman. So there's this purple run in Postman button that I'm going to go ahead and pull in. I already have Postman installed, so I'm going to see this like intermediary screen. I'm going to pull it in here because I'm on Mac and I'm installing it in Canary right now. So what I'm going to do is there is this rule. I'm going to go ahead and close out of Canary in my second tab. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to quit Postman. And then I'm going to reopen Postman. Yeah, did you know that? So I've hit this, I have several versions. Canary, you've talked about before. I have like some non-public versions of Postman. But if you're pulling in a collection like this, the last opened
Yeah.
instance of Postman is the one that it goes to. So
I learned that the hard way as well. Just on a demo, and I was like, no, I don't want that to open in Canary.
yeah. Well, Canary is where I have my cheat sheet. So so I have, okay. So all I did was reboot, restart my production instance of Postman. I'm still in the same workspace. Let me make this a little bit smaller. And now when I go back to the docs, this is that intermediary page. Now when I click Postman for Mac because I'm on Mac here, did anything happen?
It is not there.
Do I need to do it again? Let me try it again.
Yeah.
So I clicked the purple Run and Postman button. See, they styled it. We're used to seeing the orange one, but they're purple themed.
Can't blame them. Yeah. Orange is a good color, but it doesn't match everything.
So I'm gonna, oh, I guess I already pulled it in. Did you see it before?
No, I think probably just a refresh. It is there, yeah.
Okay, so I'm not gonna replace it because I already have a copy here. And in fact, I'm gonna start and bring it to the top. And then I can see it's 19 requests, Labs v1, Labs v2. Well, this has changed since yesterday that I was preparing it. So I hope I can find the right one and know which version I was on. And hopefully there is a, okay, can you turn on my secret shield activate?
Activated. Beautiful.
Okay, secret shield deactivate.
Deactivated.
Okay. So this is the in that purple Run and Postman button, they embedded this collection of 19 requests here, as well as this stub of a template for the environment. So you can see that these are the types of credentials that I need to put in order to auth to do that OAuth 2.0. So, Arlemy, are you going to use these endpoints?
I shouldn't have to. If you save whatever result in variable, then I can just use the variable.
Okay. But just for best practices, I'm going to use the current session value. And I think their documentation talks through this too. So a lot of times when you're just working with yourself, you have initial value and current value, and it's like same, and that's fine. But because I'm in a team workspace with Arlemy, I don't want him to take my credentials and do sinister things with my credentials, or just anything with my credentials. Okay, so what I'm gonna do is I am going to go back to the dashboard. I'm going back to Chrome. I'm gonna close this window. And I have,
You have some
yes.
support from Danny that says he's in a long queue in a supermarket and still watches us.
Oh, that's how I watch Twitch. So I'm gonna go to my dashboard. So this is where, if you've been playing around with the Twitter API before, you have to create an app. And I think the only required information here is like an app name. I called it Twitch Demo. You need to have a description and then just plop in any old website URL. And then I think they might have some character requirement for app usage. So just set up a demo app for this purpose. And typically you have keys and tokens, and then you have permissions here. So permissions you would want to grant like read access, for example. But because this is developer labs, you actually need to go to the extra area to grant and activate permissions. So here, all I've done is activate previews for this one, recent search. And if I click details, like here's what I can do with it. So it's V1. Help me remember that it's V1. And then for tweets and users,
V1.
this one is also V1, yeah. So you just have to click that activate button here and then select. That way your credentials and your auth tokens aren't like, you have all access, just scope management, that kind of thing. Okay, so I'm gonna go to my app, my Twitch demo app, and go under keys and tokens. But I don't want you guys, I think you guys can still kind of see what I'm doing. This is like very fun. Arlemy, secret shield activate.
Activated. Go for it.
Okay, so I open my keys and tokens,
I really
and
hope it works because maybe it just doesn't work at all and people in the chat can actually see that. I have no idea.
guys, let us know if you can see exactly what I'm doing because that would be so not cool. So I'm just copying my API key, I'm moving over to Postman, and I'm going to edit. And under my current value, I'm going to plop, paste API key, switch back over to Twitter. I'm taking API secret key, and then in Postman, paste secret. And like Twitter does this thing where when you copy it to your clipboard, it enters like 2 new lines. So you got to like delete those. It's been like that for years. Go back.
That shows a new feature from Postman, which actually shows you when there's a new line, which it
It
didn't do before.
does. So Postman support used to get so many questions about the Twitter API just for that because it would like append 2 new lines, and you can't really see it in Postman very well. So yeah. And now I'm going to generate a new token. Access token. I'm copying it to my clipboard. Secret Shield is still on as I described to you with words what's going on. Did anyone say if they can see my secrets?
No, I'm a bit worried now.
Someone is DDoSing me. They're like way quicker than I am. Access token, secret copied. This is the last one. And I paste it in and I hit update. And then, wait, don't unactivate yet, please.
Okay, they
Okay.
confirming. So Andy count and Hot Grilly says can see enough, it would lower the bar to guessing. Well, if you manage to guess an API key, that's pretty good.
I always wondered how these blur things work. If there's like another filter you could do to like unblur it that way, you know?
Don't give them ideas.
It's not like a hash. All right. So secret shield deactivate.
And deactivated.
Okay, cool. So what I did was, I'm not going to show you, but under the actively selective environment, I pasted all my values, my credentials, into the current value column, the second column there for the values. And I'm using it this way so that Arlemy can't steal my secrets. One thing I should note is that in order to use the setting properly, you need to go to this little wrench icon, go to settings, and then scroll down under the general settings. You need to make sure this automatically persist variable values is toggled off. And that way I can use my local session values versus syncing it to something that Arlemy can see. So everything in that current values is local to my instance of Postman. And in fact, if I like log out of Postman and log back in, it should be gone. Okay.
I believe this setting is off by default now.
By default? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So, oh my gosh, we haven't even like used an API yet. Okay.
Take your time.
Let's take a look at, was it V1 tweets?
Yeah.
Users.
All in V1, yeah.
Let's take a look at users. Okay, so users, I'm just going to see, I mean, I'm sure I know what this is. This endpoint returns information about users. You can specify users by their ID or username. So here's the parameters under params tab. So ID or username. So it says required unless using usernames. If using this parameter, uncheck usernames. So I don't know my ID off the top of my head. So I'm just going to uncheck that. And I'm going to put my own. This is my Twitter handle. And you can include a list, comma separated. So Arlemy, I'm pretty sure you're Arlemy.
Yep.
No. Do you have any secret tweets? Some un-PC tweets that we're about to uncover?
No, that's on my alternate account.
Do you want to pull that one up?
No.
Okay. All right.
That's the point of an alternate account.
The format for this, I did have a little bit of trouble with this last time. So the allowed values that I can plug in here are default, compact, detailed. Do you know the Twitter API well?
So I did play with it as well, and I had to, so because the first one says required and the other ones don't, I just thought I could leave it like empty. But if you try to send it like this, it's going to complain and it's going to say what like empty is not one of.
Let's send it.
Yeah.
Oh, it says unauthorized.
Oh, so that's the problem with your credentials, not with the parameters.
Oh, did I get my environments mixed up?
Do you want me to pull the shield?
Well, no. Actually, let's just take a look at this. So they said OAuth 2.0, right? Bearer token?
Yeah.
Was style of auth. So if I go under authorization, it says inherit auth from parent. So the parent of this is going to be the folder that it's in. So if I take a look at this and look at their auth, inherit auth for parent, you keep following it up.
Yep.
Then is it this one? It's nested. So take a look at this. Auth, inherit from parent, keep going up. The top level is the collection. So I'm going to go take a look at this. Authorization. So it is bearer token.
Okay.
And I can see that there's something orange, which means that there is a value there, except the fact that I'm pretty sure the value might be null. It's initialized, but value of null. So because I read the documentation, and in fact, let's go there now. So here's the Twitter Developer Labs collection. If I click the collection flyout view and I see view in web, it would be a really good stream if we just sat and read documentation. Yeah. Okay, so this is I'm inside Postman. This is my personal version of their web documentation. So, okay, these are the values that I just pasted into my environment. In keys and tokens, that's what I did from the Twitch demo in the Twitter app dashboard. To add these values, is that a sun? Select the gear icon, blah, blah, blah. So we entered the current value. We hit update. And Postman will set up your request to be authenticated using OAuth 2.0 bearer token auth. Okay, so as we thought, let's go back to Postman.
So there's a question in chat from Suem, which is there a way to hide access token for individual requests in Postman? When using basic auth, it hides password, obviously, but would be cool if it did that for auth 2.0 access token too.
To hide the access token?
For individual requests. So I guess as long as it's in your, can you put that in your environment or like whichever variable?
So when we're using an auth helper like this, authorization helper, this one it automatically adds
Oh
the
yeah, true.
header
Yep.
to be generated when you send the request. So actually in your view, if I close this here, it's very cryptic. I don't actually see anything under headers because it's added at the time of the request. So I don't see anything at all. And in fact, it's very abstracted away from the user when you use this type of auth helper. If I were to say manually add a header that said authorization and bearer token like something, you'd want to like, don't look. I almost showed my secret, but you would say like secret here. And then to the user, um, they would need to populate that value, that variable with their own value. So the way Twitter has decided, the way Twitter has decided to do this is just through a helper to make it really easy to get started. So going back to the collection details, if you look under the pre-request script, this is what this is the script. We've talked about scripts, I think, every stream we've had so far, but this is JavaScript that will run before every request in this collection. So if Twitter Developer Labs has 19 requests and they're all using OAuth 2.0, then they can generate that bearer token here before every single request is sent to their Twitter servers. So this is a lot of code that we're not going to go over, but this actually has worked for me. I tried it yesterday and it worked. But why isn't this working now, Arlemy? Did I set up my correct app? Because I revoked those tokens to regenerate them. Should I try it again?
I, let's. Can you just try send it again?
Unauthorized. So it's not
Okay.
even like that I've not
Yeah, yeah,
included
no.
required snippets.
And can you go to your? Let me just pull up your shield. And can you go to your headers in the request
Mm-hmm.
and show the hidden ones?
Yeah, the bearer token won't generate until
Yeah.
you.
Hmm.
I'm pretty
Okay.
sure I just got my apps mixed
Yeah.
up.
We try again.
Okay. You know what? I'm going to delete. I noticed that I double imported some stuff. So I'm going to delete my Twitter.
Yeah, the environments. In the
Don't you
meantime,
think?
yeah. In the meantime, there's a
Yeah.
question from Hod. Really, I'm sorry for everyone. I can't pronounce usernames because first I have to figure out
It's Hod
the
Greeley.
Hod really.
Yeah.
Okay. The question is, does it show when you're using auth headers in the auto-generated code?
Yes. Yes, it does because it's actually pretty abstracted from the user in this build mode. But Hod is asking about this code.
Yeah.
If I click this button, you will see my bear. Actually, I don't have a bear token. So I'll click this button. We don't think I have a bear. Oh, whatever. So yeah, here is the, and we haven't actually generated the bearer token, but yes, it will append the authorization header in the code generated snippet. Check the headers on the sent request at the bottom panel to see what was sent. What?
For your response, go to the
Headers.
header tab. Yeah.
Response headers. I'm under the response button.
Yeah.
Oh, we're getting people to debug this for me. I'm pretty sure I just messed up the app setup. I do think, I mean, like, I'm perfectly happy having people debug this, but otherwise I'll just restart from scratch. What do you think, Arlumi?
Yeah, I'd say quick restart from scratch, and if it doesn't work again, then we can first we turn it off and on, and then we debug.
Okay, sounds good. Secret shield activate.
Activated.
Okay, so I'm going to delete. I'm going to delete them completely. Delete. Delete. And now I'm going to.
Yeah, it may have just been confused because you had two environments with the same variable names, and if it picks the wrong environment, then
Ew.
so maybe it was fine. It was just
Okay, so I'm going to actually delete this entire Twitter Developer Labs.
yeah.
Okay. just to make things really clean. It was because I had that canary thing. Oh, Postman. I'm going to submit a feature request after this. Okay, so I'm going to go back over to the. Where's that purple? Oh no, my secrets, my secrets.
It's fine. The shield is up.
Oh, okay.
Do everything. So
Okay.
Daniel from Twitter is saying, I'm able to request a username using labs v2 tweets and users v2 sync of user by username. Yeah, I think the issue was probably so either the credential mixed up or just because we had two environments and it probably defaulted to the wrong one for some reason. So let's see if that fixes it.
Ask some more questions. Oh, shields are holding. Yeah, ask some more questions while I'm sitting here slowly copying and pasting.
Do you want questions? So who's already done any kind of analysis with the Twitter API, and that's not counting the Twitter people in the chat because that's a bit of cheating. But if
What if
anyone,
they hadn't? What if they hadn't and like it was revealed that they've never used their own API?
see that I didn't want that to happen, which is why I directed it to other people. But I know there was so many, especially in the time of Brexit. So for me, who's in the UK, and I think a few of the Twitter people are in the UK as well. There was so much use of this API to just show how like the different news outlet in the UK were treating that. So obviously you had like what's our is it the Sun? One of the the good ones in terms of like spreading misinformation, etc.
The Sun, we have like a Sun that's
Oh,
like
is
the
it
National Enquirer here.
so maybe yeah. So Hod really, am I saying it right? Has used all the tools to do it before. So I know when I was doing it, I was not doing it straight from. So I was not working at Postman at the time. I was just using like a drag and drop tool to like pair up APIs, kind of an like IFTTT but more detailed. And it was very easy to just pick up like parts of the JSON response and do some analysis on that, whichever API it was. So it could be sentiment, it could be like tone, it could be anything. Yeah, Node-RED exactly. I've spent a lot of time with Node-RED, and I've worked on the nodes for the Watson nodes that were doing that. So yeah,
Secret Shield deactivate.
deactivated.
Totes works. I was wrong in copying and pasting all my stuff. So now we have a beautiful 400 bad request instead of 401 unauthorized. Okay, so this is the error that you were talking about,
Yeah,
Arlemy. I think you just saw required, so you just added one. But in this case, you probably need to include stuff in the default values. Default, um, I
and
think
yeah,
it is for all of them.
to reply to it is written by Nick, which is a very good guy, and it was I loved working with him.
I'm gonna leave that one off. Okay, does this look similar to what you did, Arlemy?
Yeah, yeah,
Okay.
basically default all the things.
Bad request. I think I got
Wait,
this before where sometimes I have to just send it again. Or I can change this to like detailed. Maybe I didn't need to save it or something. See how it's there. There we go. 200. Okay.
nice.
So this is me up here.
Oh, so
Here's you,
you can
Arlemy.
actually, so if you deselect the the parameters, it's not even checked.
Yeah.
Daniel is saying, yeah, you could just instead of like forcing to put something there, you can just deselect them.
Oh.
It's good to know.
Let's try that here. Like that.
Yeah, and I guess so therefore it would take default as default.
Oh, yeah, yeah. Okay.
Cool.
Okay. Today we learned. Let me close. Oh, that's you. Oh, that's me. Where'd you go? So I'm just clicking on these. I don't know if you can see them very well, but these little accordions here in Postman.
Yep.
Arlemy, you're a developer advocate at Get Postman, tweeting inconsistently about technology, TV shows, and food. And you're missing an Oxford comma in
That's
your profile. Okay, so here's some information about that. Okay, we finally got something working, and it's only halfway through this live stream. Okay, so let's hustle up. We got to get some data from some news sources. And I clearly have, already tried this out a little bit before, but I think was I in a recent search V1? Was it V1 that I had activated, Arlemy?
Yeah.
Okay, so I've already gone to my Developer Labs dashboard and activated and given this my credentials permission to use this endpoint. So I'm going to go ahead and pull this up. I'm going to close these tabs. And this one, I'm going to go ahead and close. And I don't care about that one anymore. You know what I forgot to do, Arlemy?
No.
I forgot to make a fork.
Best practices.
Okay, let's just
It's fine.
pretend like I'm on a fork. Okay, so this is recent search. This one doesn't have a description, but it's just going to /search. And there's a bunch of params here that are deselected. We could probably read the documentation, unless you just want to like wing it.
Whichever. We can check the documentation.
Okay, let's go to the documentation.
So Andy's saying you can use.
Ah, my secret!
Oh, yeah, I wasn't fast enough this time. Sorry.
Okay,
It's
well,
fine. You can revoke right after.
I know, but I don't want anyone to rate limit me by like hitting it a bunch of times. Okay, all right. What was I
Okay.
doing?
Shields off. Documentation.
Okay, shields off, shields down.
Shields down.
So documentation is going to be for recent search
Yep.
V1.
V1 or V2.
Let's go to V2.
So I think that's what Andy was saying. You can use them like either V1 or V2 because it's the same activation.
Okay, cool, cool. Don't panic. Thanks, Andy. Okay. All right. So building search queries. So you go to the API reference instead of the quick start?
Yeah. Because usually I can just copy paste an example from here.
Okay.
And
so these are all optional. I'm sure query is required, huh?
yeah.
Oh yeah, these are in alphabetical order. So query is required as a string. Okay, so let's just try it out. That's the only one that's required, right? Back to Postman. I'm going to check query and I'm going to say, what do you want to search for? Search string.
So are we going for COVID?
Okay. COVID or Corona?
We could actually compare the sentiment between these two, like when one is used and when the other one is used.
I'll bet you that COVID is used by more like medical or official
Yeah,
channels, and then Corona is like funny memes, and so like there's going to be a difference.
definitely. Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to hit send. I don't know if this will work, but I'm going to. There's a ton of. Okay, so I'm scrolling to the bottom, and it looks like 200 OK data returned, and there's a bunch of hashtags.
Yeah.
Okay. These are related hashtags, mentions, URLs. Was I in recent search V2 to return the actual tweets?
I think you were in V1.
Okay, well. Oh, here's some tweets.
Yeah, you have the tweets here.
Okay, well. This does not look the same as it did yesterday. Oh, we probably need to do like a hashtag. Don't you think? Pro tip.
Yeah, it's gonna change the content of the search, but I don't think it's gonna change the result. As
You're
in
right. It's still formatted the same way, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what do we want to do? I had pulled a couple news sources. What do you plan on doing with this information, Arlemy?
So I just want the text content of the tweet, and then I can send that to my API.
Okay.
And it should tell me whether it's positive, negative, or neutral.
Okay. So I believe I was using last time. Let's just take a look at the Labs 2 recent search and see if we get a slight difference. Andy just said that we're able to, that permissions are the same for V1 and V2. So all I've done here is I'm going to close some of these. All I've done here is I'm going to close Labs V1. I'm in Twitter Developer Labs V2 under recent search V2, loaded up recent search for that version 2 of Developer Labs. So I'm going to go ahead and say hashtag COVID here and see if the response is slightly, it should be different. Like that's the whole reason why they version and stuff, right? Okay, so here, this is an array. Data is an array
Oh,
of,
that's much easier.
yeah, the ID of the text, and then like, I don't even know what language this is. Um, that's a really pretty looking language. And then there's like all this stuff. I don't know. Do we want to do COVID versus Corona? I pulled like news sources. I tried to look up Fox News.
Yeah, let's
Like,
do
what do you
news
want to do?
sources.
News sources. Okay, so the way you search for that is like this is what I used. So from CNN, you can see CNN is the literal Twitter handle for CNN News. I don't know what CNN stands for. So here we go. Stuff, political stuff, coronavirus stuff, archaeologists, a bunch of stuff, right? And then if you scroll to the bottom, uh, you see, let me just collapse the tweets. So data, whoop, data is an array. And then there's also this other property meta that includes like next token. So they're only returning X amount of tweets, and then you have to paginate to go get the next ones. Okay, so
Stands for Cable News Network, says
that sounds
Euros.
fake.
Yeah, I was going to say it sounds like Central National News, but I
National.
guess both work.
Is CNN an American thing, or do they have it over in London?
You ask me questions that I would never be able to answer.
Are
I
you
don't
not
know.
based in London, Arlemy?
I'm based in London, but TV is a related, like, how do you say, a foreign concept to me.
Okay, so you said that you wanted all the tweets. Let me expand this data object array again. So it's an array of objects, and each object is the ID, unique ID, and then the text. So how do you want this formatted? Or it doesn't really matter, I suppose. I could just pass it over to you, right?
Yeah, you can just leave all the like string manipulation to me.
The string minute. Okay,
Yeah.
I'm going to go up to the tests tab. So we already looked at a pre-request script at the collection level, but this is at the request level. The tests, we've already sent and received the request from the Twitter server. And then this is the response that we're going to parse and then pull out the tweets and then save it as some sort of variable, some type of variable, environment variable. We're already using an environment variable so that Arlemy, you can take it and then use it for the sentiment analysis. So I'm going to go ahead and say capture the response as pm.response.json. Okay, so this is just this response body down here. But you only want the data, right?
If you can give me only the data, then that's better. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it's probably much easier to do it on your end, actually.
So I'm going to say save data as res.data. So it's just going to be an array at this point in time. But I need to save it. So I'm going to create a bucket of some sort. Let's say let data bucket equals like an object or something. Actually, we already have an array, so let's just make an array. Will this work? If we just add it? Do you know how to add array objects in an array to another array?
Push. Just push all the things.
So you have to loop through it and push it?
Yeah.
If anybody knows a smoother way to add items in an array to another array, just put it in the chat. In the meantime, I'll go ahead and push it. So what I'm going to do is say data is an array, right? For each, is data an array? Yeah, data is an array. For each item or each tweet, we know it's a tweet. Whoops. I want to use my arrow keys more, but Mac changed the spacing of the arrow keys. So I always like get real. I use my trackpad, which is unsightly. Spread operator. More words, Hod Greeley. More words. Okay, so I'm taking each tweet or each object here in this data array, and then I'm going to pluck out probably the ID and the text if we want like, just say, let ID equals tweet.id, let text equal tweet.text. Only one person has ideas for maximizing this, but this will work. This will work. And then you wanted to push it. So let's push it to this data bucket. So data bucket's an empty array currently. We're gonna push. We're gonna push
ID.
I mean,
are you not recreating the same? Yeah, but you're recreating the same thing, right?
I'm not recreating exactly the same thing. I'm recreating a key value pair instead of ID and text key literal text. Okay, so all I'm doing. Ooh, Hot Girly has more words. Anything good up there? Anything worthwhile?
So you can just concatenate an array in, like, arrays in an array.
You can concat. Won't those be nested? So the thing is, every time I send a request to Twitter, I'm getting an array of, like, let's just say 10 objects, and then I think it'll be array, comma, array. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay, so we pushed this into data bucket. So now we can
console log.
Oh, I love this console. What do you want to do? Console log data bucket?
Yep.
Like that? Okay, I'm gonna go to this bottom left here and click Postman console. Oh, look at all these junker. Let me go ahead and clear this out so we can see clearly. And then I'm gonna close this one too. Don't save that one. That's V1. We're already on a V2. So I'm gonna hit send and we console logged. Oh my gosh, something went wrong, but now we go to the console. Identifier data has already been declared. Okay, so instead of data, I'm just going to say res.data. How about like that? Maybe data is like a keyword.
Yeah, I think, yeah.
Okay.
I think I had the same issue when I tried out here.
Oh, you tried it with data too?
Yeah.
Okay,
I mean, it makes sense. It's data.
Yeah, it's data. We sent it, no errors. Oh, okay, so this is what we have. It's an array of 10 items, and each thing is the ID in the key and then the text of the tweet in the value. Yes, nice. This is what we want. So I'm going to go ahead and switch back over to the main view. That is data bucket currently, but that's only like 10. Oh, it is 10. 10 items, 10 tweets, but we want to, Andy's saying if you want more than 10 results, you can increase max results up to 100. That's much better than what I was going to do. Do you know what I was going to do, Arlemy?
No. Were you just going to like loop over and...
Yeah, I was going to, because they have a next token, I was just going to go through the pagination and like call it X amount of times until like my bucket was so full.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is way easier. It is possible to do it in Postman, but this is way more straightforward and proper. So let's go to params and max results. How much information do you want, Arlemy?
So I'm limited to 5,000 bits or something. Like they give some random number. So give me like tops 50 tweets, I'd say.
50?
Yeah.
Okay, let's just assume that this is the correct data type. It's like a number. So I'm going to hit, wait, let me clear. Secret shields activate.
Activated.
Oh, wait, you know what? Deactivate. I'm stupid. I didn't even put anything in my environment yet.
Deactivated.
Yes, I also love the test and pre-request script functionality. It's so powerful. So it's deactivated, right?
Yep.
Okay. So let's go ahead and see if this works. Bottom, and I think we still had that log statement, so I'm going back over to the console, and yes, it's 50. Thank you so much, Annie Piper. We didn't have to loop through by calling the same request and just appending new results to my data bucket. So now I just have to persist this somehow, and we talked about using an environment variable. Do you have a preference if I use an environment variable, Arlemy, or a global is available at the workspace level? Are you going to be working in this? Do you want it to be a local?
I'll be working in the same environment, so environment should be fine.
Okay.
Yeah, environment should be fine. You can put it in global, but ideally, whenever like I'll just put the name of the variable and it's gonna resolve wherever it is, right? It's gonna try to resolve at each level, and then it's gonna whenever it's
Yes.
gonna find an answer, it's gonna
So
resolve.
here's the thing. Because I have that setting here in the settings
Mm.
toggled to automatically persist variable values, I'm keeping my current value private. So I can't do the work for you. If you have your credentials for the Twitter API, then you can run the same request, but I can't save that data because currently it'll just go, actually, wait. I don't know if it'll save to initial or if it'll save to current or current and
And you
initial.
can save it to current and then just copy paste to initial if you want.
Oh, manually.
Yeah, it's not. I take it it's not the best way to do this.
Okay, okay, okay. All right,
If not,
let's do it.
I have my credentials, so I would be able to do it.
Okay, sounds good. So all I'm going to do is go back to the tests tab. We created this, let's just see what we have saved to local variable called data bucket. It's an array of 50 items that each contain a tweet. So I'm just going to persist that pm environment.set, and I'll call it data bucket. You okay with that?
Yep.
Data bucket from Joyce. I'll just delete that. And then I will say it should be data bucket, right?
Yeah.
But because data bucket's an array, I think we have to encode it. So I'm going to say JSON dot stringify data bucket. Okay, so now if I Command S and save on Mac to make my orange button go away, I'm going to hit send, and then secret shields activate.
Activated.
Now I go to my quick look and I scroll down and I see my secret bearer token and I see my data bucket that has a big bunch of data in it, and I'm going to copy and paste it. It's only populated in the current value because that's how I have my setting, but I'm going to go ahead and, oh shoot, I'm going to use my Command A to select all and then copy it to my clipboard and then poke it over, paste it over into the initial value. Secret shields deactivate. So now, Arlemy, you have access to that. And in fact,
Yep.
if you select that environment, you shouldn't see any, you don't need to have your secret shield on. You could show it.
Yep.
Do you want
Should be fine.
anything else from me?
No, I think that's good. Now
Okay.
I have 2 minutes to do that. It should be fine.
I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. No, it will be fine. It will be fine. Okay, let me switch to. Okay, let me just move stuff around and switch to my view.
There's a question. Any max on environment variable size? I think it's pretty dang high because we do some heavy lifting. However, the larger it goes, there is some performance impact. I know there's been some optimization for that, but I don't know. I don't actually know the exact
Yeah,
limit.
we had an event like a month ago, and we had some guy that had I don't know how many, like thousands and thousands of characters, and it was a bit slow. But that's one of the performance improvement that we've released this week. It's one of the things that makes like that is much faster now. And I'm also not aware of a hard limit. Okay, so if I look at why don't I have your environment here? Let me.
Oh, do I have to share it? Oh,
Can you
we just announced RBAC for. Or let me see.
can you see my screen?
I see your screen
Cool.
on Twitch.
Ah.
Is that what you mean?
Yeah, if you're on Twitch, it's fine. It's just you can use the Hangouts if not. So I am seeing the Twitter Developer Labs and all your stuff in there. I could just recreate it myself if needed. So it has saved the changes that Joyce made. So we can see she's created CNN. She wanted 50. If I try to send out, obviously, because I don't have any environment, that's going to crash big time. And that's going to tell me unauthorize. The environment is not shared. I'm not too sure as to why, but I can just recreate it myself. I can copy it over from my other one. So I'll put my shield on.
Secret shields activate.
Yep, like this. I'm going to switch to my other workspace. And I'm going to take... Don't have them set up. Okay. So I'm just looking for the right one because I also have it imported several times, which is not the right thing to do, but it is what it is. Okay, I can
send you the data too separately if you want.
I should be fine. So I can share the environment straight to another workspace. I'm going to share this one to to Twitch, my bad. And now, oh, did I share to the wrong one? So again,
moving really fast, Arlene.
Yeah.
Sorry.
So I'm going to my environments in my staging section, workspace, and I'm going to share to Twitch. I click share. Hopefully it should be there. I can close that and revert back to my other team workspace. And now I see two. And both of them, actually,
that's mine.
Yep,
that's mine.
I see Joyce's one, and I see this one, which is empty. So I'll just delete the one that is empty. Oop. Cool. So now we have a clean workspace. I can select Twitter Developer Lab, and I can remove my secret shield. Cool. So I should be able to just run that request.
Is your secret shield removed?
Yeah.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Okay.
Oh, it doesn't. Obviously, no. It's not. It doesn't share your credentials, but what it does share, let me just double check like this. Yeah. So without secret shield, if I look at my environment that she shared with me, this is still the base one from the Twitter Developer Labs because she only put in the current value and she didn't override the initial one. But if I look at the tweets, now I can see I have a data bucket and I have the data here. So both in initial and current, and that's what I'm going to work out of. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to create a new collection that I'm going to call Sentiment Analysis. And I'll just put it at the top like this. And I'll add a request to that one. And I'll call it Post or just Sentiment Analysis again.
So creative.
Yeah, I know. It's under pressure. I get very creative. So now I have that request. And so I'm not going to go through the whole story of how do you get AWS to play nicely. But what I will show is...
But that's what people get hung up on.
Yeah. So I'm going to use Amazon Comprehend, which is the natural language processing API of AWS. And as it's an API, you're thinking, see, it says jump in and try our APIs. You're thinking, oh, surely there's an API documentation that I can go to and just, again, like the Twitter one, I can copy paste an endpoint and then send my request. So beautiful. You click to API reference. Oh. And what does it say? It says a lot of stuff. And you can look everywhere. You can look in all this API stuff, but all it says when you try to get started is, for example, I go to the API reference, action, comprehend. So I'm going to go to the exact one to detect the sentiment.
Oh my gosh, there's so many.
Yeah, so detect sentiment. You have the request syntax.
Where's the reference?
So I'm in the API reference right now, and I'm on the endpoint that I'm trying to hit, but there's no endpoint. And nowhere in their documentation they talk about endpoints. All they provide is SDK, which is good. They have SDKs for a lot of languages. But in my case, when I was just trying to create a simple request and get some answer, I had to go around the internet and find, as you always do on some community forums, find some lovely people that explained. So you have to refer to that SDK, and he went into the actual code of the SDK and told me how to configure it all. So this is how you do with Postman. So that was pretty handy. This person was actually explaining how to do it with Postman. So I'm gonna follow that, and I'm just gonna paste all my stuff in there.
You should make AWS a Postman collection of this
So we
endpoint
have Postman collections, but we don't have the ones for the MLN yet. That's I
for
think that's
this
something
one.
that we
Yeah.
should
Yeah.
get. So I'm gonna put the shield up, and I'm gonna put all my credentials. I can show you how it's gonna start. So first it says to make a post request to the comprehend URL. So I'm in the London region, so it's EU West 2 for AWS. So that's where my service is created. And now I can go to authorization, and they have a built-in AWS signature thing. Whoop!
Oh no!
That was close. You probably saw it, but again, I will revert that. I'm not sure how that made it here, but it seems to be here. Cool. So now you know, when you click there, the credentials are shown already. So I'm putting my access key and my secret key, which I believe are the ones. I'm not double checking. And I have to do some stuff on the
Wait,
header
so
side as well.
it's
Yep.
been a while since I've used AWS Auth, but I remember it was a real pain in the butt. You're just literally at the request level using AWS Signature, and you need to poke in what?
So you go to your AWS profile and you go to you create an IAM user, which is admin. And then that's where you get you have a tab, which is
Programmatically
API
access,
tokens,
yeah.
etc. Yeah. So that's where you get them from, and you can paste them there. Change the region again. Oh, that's the right one. Service name is comprehend. And I need to do some stuff on the header. So I'm going to take off my shield so you can see what I'm doing. There's a bit of my authorization, but that's not enough for you to use. So they say I need a x-amz date, which I have, and it's generated by default. Authorization generated by default, and an x-amz target. So again, this is the kind of stuff I would have not figured out by myself without that topic. And this has to say, so this, I believe it would be the service, the version of it. So this one is a bit of an old one. I didn't check what was the latest one. And the function, so detect sentiment, which is what we want to do. Mm-hmm. And then we have content type. So we can see that there's already a content type somewhere. No, there isn't. So I can add one myself. And there's auto completion. And I want that to be application / x-amz-json. Okay, so my request is ready to go, but I do need to pull the data that Joyce made available. Put that in the body. Again, following what this person says, it has to be raw, and it's expecting two parameters, a language, so English, and a text. Mm-hmm. So this is the default one they provide you with, and if I send this, there we go, send it, and what I'm getting back is a sentiment, which is neutral, and sentiment score. So most of the cognitive API do that. They'll give you 3 positive, negative, and neutral, and it's a percentage from a number from 0 to 1, which is equivalent to a percentage. So it would be 99% neutral, because they add this, I don't know how you call that.
Can you increase the sensitivity of this analysis?
I can check the documentation for that. Let's see. So sentiment, text in parameters, language code, text, and that's all. So the answer would be no. You can't.
Hey, can you type in something very negative in that example string and see if it changes?
Okay, tell me what to say.
Like bad words.
Bad words.
Very negative.
Some very negative stuff that,
broken.
Oh boy, we do not like at all. Yeah. Is that negative enough?
I don't know. Let's find out if AWS thinks it is.
Way.
Oh, it's negative. Okay, cool. It works.
It's 82%
okay.
negative. Cool.
Okay.
That's done. So we know it works. And now the point is I want to put data bucket in there. So we're going to use the pre-request script, which are executed right before any script is sent. And for that, let's see. I do have I have data bucket here. So let's do let my tweets be pm.environment.get of, can't type anymore, data bucket. So it actually highlights it for me. I'll do it again. It shows that that's my variable and I can select it and it's there. So now I have tweets, which is that, but if I look at it in the console and if I just run that once and do tweets, if you remember what Joyce sent, if I send that console, so that's there's the ID and then there's the tweet. So I could send that, but it would do, obviously, like the numbers would interfere with the analysis. So all I want is the second bit here. So let's see how we can do that. How would I get to that?
Are numbers positive or negative?
What do you mean?
Would the ID count as positive or negative?
Good question. I have no idea.
Surely it just takes all that. I think you can just put that whole string in there, don't you think?
Let's try. So I don't even need this. I can just go to my body and here I can say get data bucket. Try this. Haha, no. Oh. I think it doesn't like the
formatting.
Yeah, I'm thinking formatting or the type. What's the type of this? It should be a string, right?
Yeah, because you didn't parse it yet.
Let's see. So.
Oh.
And define. Try to say it again. Yeah, still define.
Parse it.
Okay, so we pass that to a string or
parse.
Oh. Cool. And now let's just log that to see what's happening.
Yeah.
So I'm seeing some support for the SDKs of AWS, and I agree, like their SDK are very good. I just, like, as a developer, I would just like to have the option to use the API, because at the end of the day, the SDKs are just like a gate to the APIs, right? So if they could just provide that as well, that would make it much easier. Data bucket is not defined. Oh, that's because I'm so dumb. I've been using data buckets since the beginning. Okay. So we do have this, and it's an array, and so it's exactly what you did. And now, so it still has a problem with serialization. So I don't think parsing is going to help, because you were just making it an object rather than a string. But this already returns a string, so I'm thinking it's probably just complaining about the.
Yeah.
So we'll have to create let tweets string out of that, right? Mm-hmm. And that's just going to be a string. And we can do, I'm going to have to go through it again. Tweets.forEach. I'll do the old school, don't hate me.
What is this? This syntax looks foreign.
That's for people that haven't coded in years, like me. That's what we use. And we'll do my tweets string. I'll just add to it L dot. If I want the data, what is that going to be? It's going to be object dot value of L. Does that ring a bell?
Object.value.L. Try it.
And of tweet string. Cool. Haha. No. Would have been too good. Object.value is not a function. Yeah, I probably don't remember that correctly. I don't know if anyone else on the chat knows how to get just the value of it.
So object.key. You just want you want the value.
Yeah. So you have that would be my element, right? Like if
I think you almost got it. Let me.
If I console
open up my Google
of element and
object values.
Oh, was it just a
plural? You had value, right?
Yeah.
Your screen is very small. I can't quite see, but yeah, values.
Okay, so tweet string plus equal object dot values of my element, right?
I think so.
And we expect this to work. Haha. So it does create my string, which is what we want. So the string of all the tweets, which is pretty good. That's all we wanted. So why is it not working? I'm thinking it may be, so I had this issue, and that's what I was saying you to not send too many tweets. It's because apparently there's a limit that is not that high. You can send a minimum of 1 character, which is, I don't even know how they do sentiment analysis on 1 character, but you do have to. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to edit this, and it's not the right way to do it, right? Like I shouldn't just edit this.
Yeah.
So I have VS Code on another screen. Don't mind me. Just gonna do.
You can always just take like 1 tweet. Like their example is very minimal. We could find a very inflammatory tweet. We should ask people to submit tweets and then have us analyze it.
Just do. Boop. So I have 2 different resolutions on both screens. It's a bit. Okay, so if I remove, let's say from here, I'll remove these tweets. Okay, let's try with this. Go back to Postman, and I'll change the current value of my data bucket. That's it, it's updated. And now I can send this. Haha, still no.
Bad request.
Bad request. So we can look at the documentation. Let's go again. And let's see what they say about the errors. Boop.
What was the error?
Serialization error. And it doesn't seem to be here. Nothing about serialization. So you have to figure out by yourself.
What about the guy that posted, the community person that posted? Is there anything in there?
Let's see. Where is that person? Is it here?
I get really confused with AWS's documentation too, because there's so many different like products and variations of products.
Nothing in there. So it's definitely with whatever we're doing here. Don't I need to do? No, it is a string, right?
Type of. Why do you open the console every time?
I don't know.
I'm just fine.
It is a string.
Oh, that was an old one, yeah.
It is still quite long. Did it actually edit?
Just hard code a little one in there. Hard code a tweet. I want to read the rest of this Mike Pence one.
Let's get the Mike Pence one then. So this one. I'm sorry, I'm gonna do this just because I really want to get this to
return
like just the 1 tweet. And close it. Okay, so we have this and it's only 1 tweet, right? That was longer than I thought. Okay, cool.
You know, if you hit edit, you can see it in a bigger screen instead of scrolling.
You actually can't look at that. If I click edit, it shows on 1 line.
No, the edit link at the top.
Oh, yeah. Okay, send this. Okay, so clearly I have something wrong in here. So I'm just gonna hard code it, and that's a bit of a fail. But I can just do tweet string equals clicking edit, taking it as a big thing. We don't need that. pasting it here. Ha! Interesting. Still doesn't work. Do you know why?
I'm sending in body.
I know why. Because since the beginning, I don't actually take my data bucket here, which was frame since the beginning.
You have to set it.
I have to set that as a variable. So my guess it's been working for a long time.
Oh, probably. That's how it works.
So we have tweet string here, tweet string there. And if I remove this, just comment it.
I think it's variables.
Like this, right?
I think so.
Wow.
Maybe.
I'm getting so many errors.
Tweet string, tweet. No, we gotta take this more methodically here.
Is that good? Does it look good?
Andy Piper says tweet
Yeah.
string? Tweets.
Yeah, that's what I was missing right here.
Got it. Yeah.
I got it.
Yay!
That's amazing.
Neutral sentence.
It is neutral. Okay, so the idea is there, right? Like you gave me something over from the environment variables. I did some tweaking to it to transform it in the long string and saved it as an environment variable, as another one. And then we just edited our body, put it in there, and created the sentiment analysis, right?
Yeah.
All makes sense?
Something that I was thinking of is we got the direct tweets and we're analyzing the tweets, very short little digestible blurbs. And I know you're hitting some limits with the API that you're using from AWS, but I was looking up like some potentially like inflammatory news outlets here in the US. So I looked up like Fox News, but Fox News doesn't tweet out text. They just tweet out links to articles or videos that they publish. So remember last week how we like actually scraped the website? I was thinking we can use the Twitter API to then follow the link in Postman to the website, scrape that information, and then analyze the sentiment. Because right now their tweets are just shortened.
You would think the tweet wants to reflect the article as well, but yeah, I like the idea, and we have a stream next week.
Yeah.
And we could do that as well. I don't know.
Okay. Was there anything else that you wanted to cover with the AWS?
No, I think I've covered what I'm missing about AWS. They have a good service. I'm missing the direct API stuff, and we've done some good back and forth with environments here.
I'm kind of disappointed. Is it like their API just like, do you have to pay for like? I mean, clearly we're on like. Actually, I think we do pay for AWS. Why? No,
it's really just they provide only SDKs, which are, I think it's probably just easier for them because then they have the hand on the whole like process, right? And they keep their SDK up to date and they don't have people playing with the APIs. Like, so I ran into a lot of issues setting up the API earlier just because it's an API and it's easy to just not put the right header and stuff. If you use the SDKs, then the SDKs they handle that for you, so you don't have all these rising issues.
Okay.
Cool.
One more thing before we close.
You go.
Do you want to switch over to my screen?
Yep.
Okay. Let me know when you're on my screen.
I am on your screen. I'm resizing your webcam because it keeps.
Are you ready to sing, Arlemy?
I forgot the jingle.
Spotlight on community. No, we'll workshop that one. Okay, so hopefully you see my screen and I'm on our community forum. And one area that I would like to put a spotlight on is our community showcase. So when people in our community create something kind of cool, they can post it here. And I have two to pull up here. And these are actually not from community, but they're from people that actually work at Postman, except they spent their own time to create these two items. So one is introducing Postman CTL, Postman Control, a CLI for interacting with the Postman API. So that's Kevin. Kevin actually created that. So take a look at that. Let me just dive in here. A lot of like useful tools to interact with the Postman API. Shout out number one. The other one is going to be a word that's very similar to CTL, but different. That is
Same, but different.
working locally with Postman, introducing Postman CLI. Again, this is somebody that works at Postman, but they just did this on their own because it's something cool that they wanted to do. So the CLI allows you to, you know how we're writing tests in scripts in Postman? If you want to work in VS Code, Arlemy actually had to switch over to VS Code to, I think, handle like JSON data. But if you want to write actual code and you're like your favorite text editor, then this allows you to move back and forth a little bit more seamlessly. So two really cool projects. Check it out. And if you create something on your own, post it here in Community Showcase.
Which,
That's
by
it.
the way, you can use the exclamation mark community thing in the chat and it's giving you the link to it directly. Today you learned.
Chat commands. All right.
Thanks, everyone. I think that's all for us. Hope you learned some stuff and hope you'll come again, hang out with
Until
us,
next week.
help us with handling JSON because we need it.
Yeah. All right.
Thanks a lot. Bye bye,
Bye,
everyone.
guys. Bye.
Bye.